Hello YouTube, this is Chesko from STEM APKs. Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to continue where we left off in the last tutorial. As you recall, in the last tutorial, we downloaded, configured, and installed Vulkan in Linux platform. This tutorial is for those people that had issues in the last tutorial because of Nvidia driver issues. If you had problems, you get funky errors saying that your driver is not supported, your driver is not out, is not the real one, DRM is loaded, or if you had problems like installing CUDA, uh, this tutorial is for you because this is something that can be very frustrating. I've seen people that have had to download Ubuntu or reinstall it just because they cannot get away from the driver Nvidia driver issues. It's not like if you were in uh, in I think in Microsoft, in the Microsoft world. When it comes to the Nvidia world and the Xorg server, the X11 server, it can become a nightmare. So that's why I'm making this video. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is find out what driver you need. So there are two ways to do it. The one way to do it is to go to the Nvidia.com page, enter your graphics card. If you have a GeForce, if you have Quadro, Tesla, it doesn't matter. In this case, I'm gonna put Quadro series. I'm gonna put a Quadro. They have different Quadros here. They have 620s, 420. I'm gonna put K620, Linux 64-bit, optimal driver for enterprise, and that's good enough. And Linux long-lived driver. And then just hit search, and bingo, it tells you what driver you need. It's for 1856. That's the driver that you need, according to NVIDIA, because I have an NVIDIA card. This is one way to do it. Another way to do it is if you're dealing with Vulkan, if you go through the Vulkan page, the support page, they're going to tell you exactly what driver you need. So it says for Vulkan, you have two options. You have the release driver option, or you have the developer beta option. If you go for the developer beta option, you get the 4184904. And if you go for the release driver, you get the 41856. As you see, that is the same driver that we got from here, sorry. So that's good news. So we know that that's the driver that we need. 418 is a very good candidate. So what do we do? Hit download. So we can either go from here and hit download, and that's the one that we want. And hit download, and there you go. So now it's on its way. You hit save file, and it gets downloaded. It gets into your downloads, and where is it? Actually, I already copy and paste it, but let's, no, it should still be here. There it is. That one is, it's right there. For in Linux x86 64 41849 or 49. Okay, basically there's the same. I hit it from different place, but it's the same. For our purposes, it's the same. So now you have them there, and let's show them to you in a terminal, because when they first come, they're going to be they're gonna look like this. Let's open another one here and CD downloads, and then let's make this font bigger for those people that have asked me to make it bigger. And there you go. Okay. So now I go into downloads, and that's the driver right there. It's not the 56, it's the 49. It's maybe a day or two earlier. The 56 is maybe 2, 3 days later. So as you can see, this one is not when they first come, you gotta make them executable. So you gotta make them into an executable. That's why they're neon. That means they're ready to go. So that one, for example, is not. So what you need to do is just, if you want to make a file executable, that's all you need to do is chmod plus x and the name of the file that you want to do. In this case, I'm going to do 4904 run and hit enter, and it's going to make it executable. And there's that one right there. Okay, so that one is ready to go. So now let's run it. You gotta run it as a sudo with sudo super user privileges, and then just go sudo Nvidia and the name of the file. Sorry, 49. Oh, for run, and it's gonna run. It's gonna ask you for your password, and you enter your password. And this is key here. Gonna close these so I don't want to confuse you because. And now it stops, and it stops right here. And that's probably going to happen to you if you're using Linux. And it says an NVIDIA kernel module, Nvidia-drm, appears to already be loaded in your kernel. This may be because it is in use. It is in use, I'm going to tell you, because it's being used by the X server. If you're in a Linux computer, and if you're watching these videos, more likely you are, just like me, you have an X server running, unless you're on a server or on an LTS without a desktop. But if you are like me, you are probably running an X server. You cannot install that driver without with that X server running. You will get that error 50 times if you try it. So that's why I've made this video, because this can be very frustrating, the next step here. So you hit enter, and it's telling you that is, if you go here into that NVIDIA installer lock, you're going to find out what happened. We already know what happened. We know we're using the X server, and that's why it's not letting you proceed. So what we need to do is go into, first of all, clear here, and go into a little cheat sheet that I use for you to follow, because you gotta be very careful now, because if you do the wrong thing, you lose your desktop. And trust me, you don't want to lose your desktop, because it's very you cannot use your laptop to find out, or your desktop to find out how to get rid of your how to get your desktop back. So then you need another computer, or you need your phone or something. So it can be very frustrating. So you don't want to get there. It's happened to me, trust me. So it's a word of experience. So I did this README tutorial right here, and I'm going to open it to you with you, and that's what it is. You're gonna probably get that error, fail. If you have the wrong incompatible driver, you're gonna get fail with Vulkan error incompatible driver. That's one error. Driver 41523 installation fail, unable to load the Nvidia-drm. Nvidia module already loaded in kernel. We got this error, right? Because it was in use. More likely, let's say that you have not updated your drivers. You probably have 14, or you have 390 or 380, and it's gonna give you this type of driver error. And when you try to update it, upgrade it, it's going to give you the error that you saw that it gave us. So the best thing to do is you need to do Control Alt F2. This you do where the same page when it asks you for your password or you're getting into Ubuntu, when you log off or when you reboot and you need to enter your password to get into your graphical user interface desktop. When you're at that moment, when you have to enter the password, you need to press Control Alt F2. Don't do it yet. Before you do that, you need to copy somewhere. You either take a picture with your phone or take a picture or write it somewhere because you're going to need these right here. You're going to need all this. And at the moment that you press Control Alt F2, you're going to go into terminal land and you have no access to the desktop anymore. So it's just going to be running from the terminal, or if you're not a Linux guy, it's like running out of DOS command prompt. So if you're not used to that world, you're going to be very, very lost. So write this somewhere and take a picture of it because you're going to need these commands. Okay, carefully follow these steps. Now you press Control Alt F2 at the page where you enter your password into Ubuntu. And if you do that, it's going to take you into a terminal. All of a sudden, it's going to go black and you're going to be like this, like in this world, terminal world. And now you're going to go and you're going to say, this is key here, systemctl isolate multi-user dot target. And what that's going to do is going to get rid of the last remnants of the X11 server for now, temporarily. That's why here you isolate, and in this command you start. So that's why I tell you that you got to write these things somewhere and don't leave them on your computer because you're going to lose it. Okay? So once you enter this command, it brings you into another terminal. It is the same terminal, but it's even deeper. It's almost like into another directory. You get this sense. And now you're going to log in again. You're going to log in with your username, your password, and then you're going to enter this command, mod probe dash R Nvidia-drm. That is to get rid of that error that you saw that we got. This might do it. In my experience, this does not do it. But you might get lucky, and this alone might do it. If it does it, how do we know if it does it? If you try to now run that run command again, you're gonna go into. Let's make it easier for you so you go into. Now you're in the terminal, right? So now you enter cd downloads because that's where our file was, right? And then you're going to run this command again. That's the same command that we tried to run in the desktop, but now you're gonna run it here. This is almost like safe mode in Windows. This is what we're doing here. Sometimes you hear that people say, oh, enter in safe mode if you're in the Windows world. This is exactly what we're doing here. Uh, Away from the X11 server. So you try to run it again, sudo that run. If you get that error that we got before, the Nvidia-drm is loaded, or if you get any of these other errors, that means that you are not free yet. Okay, but don't worry, don't panic. If you get that same error again, now we're going to extreme measures. And that's what I had to do in my case. So because this did not work for me, that might work for a lot of people, but that did not work for me. So in the same don't go anywhere. In the same terminal, go sudo apt-get purge NVIDIA asterisk. So that means purge everything that has NVIDIA on it. And that's going to get rid of almost everything. If you do it inside in safe mode, it gets rid of everything. If you use this command in the desktop, in the graphical user interface, it gets rid of maybe 90, 98% of the stuff. But there's still 1% of the drivers that create a nightmare. And because you can never get rid of it. Like I said, I've seen people having to reinstall Ubuntu just because of this problem. So what if you use this command in where we are right now, away from the X11, it will get rid of everything related to NVIDIA. Then you run the second command, sudo apt-get auto remove, and it will get rid of everything. And now you're ready to run the script again. Now you take this guy again and you try again. And then you run it again and you go sudo dot backslash forward slash NVIDIA Linux, whatever the name of your whatever the download was. In your case, might be 41856. Don't let that confuse you. Dot run. And if you get lucky, and I think you will, because it happened to me, it's going to install the drivers the right way. And it's going to ask you some questions. And then I'm going to say, I wrote it somewhere, just choose the defaults. If the default is on yes, leave it on yes. If the default is in no, leave it on no. And it should take care. I'm gonna put that here so you remember. I was having problems with my old mouse that was copying everything, and that's why I'm doing this. So you go copy, Control K. Let me get rid of this so I don't want to confuse you. So just leave the defaults. If he says yes, leave it yes. If he says no, leave it no. And then let it run, let it do its thing. And then when you see they says NVIDIA 41856 driver install, you're good to go. That means you got rid of whatever driver you had there. You got rid of whatever driver that it was corrupted, that it was creating the problem. That means that you got rid of that. So now you're ready to do this command. And you enter systemctl. Oops, sorry. You don't run that one. You run this one. Systemctl start graphical target. And it's going to ask for your password and it's gonna let you in again. And then you're gonna come back into the desktop. I know this can be a little scary because you're in terminal land and you have no access to a graphical user interface, but you have to do it that way if you're having real bad NVIDIA driver issues, you got it. This is the only way that you can do that. It's almost in the Windows world. If you have ever had to go into safe mode and you go into that command prompt and you have to do certain things, it's the same thing. But I hope this tutorial was helpful. It helped me, and I hope it helps you. And this is the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please click the like box and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next time with another tutorial. Have a great night.